Wait, you're a Bears fan and you're not subscribed to my channel? Before this video starts, make sure to 1. Hit the subscribe button below to catch all Bears content right here on this podcast. 2. Hit the bell notification because you, my friend, are a diehard Bears fan. And 3. Like this video and tell all the Bears fans you know about the channel. Alright, that's better. Now that you're actually subscribed to the channel, make sure to bear down and enjoy this video.
Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan. That boy is Benny Hunter. Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down, bear down.
Hey Bears fans. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are doing well. As you guys know by now, the Chicago Bears went on and hired defensive coordinator from the Colts, Matt Eberflus, to be the next Chicago Bears head coach. And you know, this was a long process. And this is something that I saw a couple of days ago while I was reading through different articles. And I thought this was pretty funny. So I'm going to share it with you guys on the podcast today. But according to Matt Spiegel of 670 The Score, Bill Polian was not happy that Ryan Poles cut him out of the coaching decision. Obviously, everyone knows by now that Bill Polian was hired as a consultant to help the Bears in search of a new head coach and GM. And obviously, Polian was a big advocate to bring on Ryan Poles as the new GM of the Chicago Bears. But when they hired Ryan Poles, I said this in past podcasts, Poles was very adamant about wanting to interview each of the finalists that they had in place for him by himself. So he just wanted nobody else in the room but him and the other candidates. And obviously the McCaskies agreed. They were fine with that. They were fine with giving Ryan Poles the opportunity to be the GM and basically have full power of everything that has to do with the football operations side of things, which is fair. But apparently that decision did not sit well with Bill Polian. So this is what Matt Spiegel said on 670 The Score. So then he gets here, and 2 days ago he interviews Jim Caldwell. Yesterday he interviews Eberflus and Dan Quinn, and he's the only guy in those rooms doing one-on-one interviews. And Bill Polian was not thrilled that Ryan Poles said, I would like to be in there one-on-one. So it wasn't the group of 5. It wasn't the group of 5 in there interviewing these head coaches. Now, I don't know. Maybe Poles went out of those rooms and talked to the group of 5 and they discussed everything. It might have been a collaborative at that point. But what I was told very definitely by someone close to one of the other candidates is that it was Ryan Poles and Ryan Poles alone. And Bill Polian was not thrilled. Why is this so entertaining to me? The reason why this is so entertaining to me, and I'm not sure what the beef was on Bill Polian's side, but this is what I have to say to Bill Polian. It wasn't your decision to make. Everyone knows that. It wasn't your decision to make. You were brought in as a consultant for the Chicago Bears to help the Chicago Bears find their GM, right? And maybe help list some candidates for their head coaching job. But your job was not to make the final decision. Your job was just to get maybe a little bit of input of maybe who you think should get an interview, not to make the final decision. Before Poles was hired, the panel of 5, that also included Polian, set out a list of finalists before Poles was even hired, which a lot of Bears fans have a problem with. Those finalists were obviously Dan Quinn, Jim Caldwell, and Matt Eberflus as the head coaching finalists. Obviously, Poles hired Eberflus, but I think Polian felt maybe a little bit more entitled to have a say-so in the final head coaching decision. And I think I know why Bill Polian was all ruffled, all shocked that he didn't get to make the final coaching decision, because he showed a lot of favoritism in this coaching search. Just think about it. He wanted the Bears to hire Morocco Brown and Jim Caldwell as the next GM and head coach of the Chicago Bears. Does anyone know the reason why he wanted that? It's because he has strong ties to the Colts, to that organization. Jim Caldwell is one of his very good friends. So it's no it's no coincidence that he wanted Jim Caldwell, that he was a big advocate for Jim Caldwell, which is fine. But when you really look at it, you hired the GM for a reason, to make the final decisions. If Ryan Poles would have been like, you know what, Bill Polian, I will go with who you want because your opinion means everything. That would have been no different than what the McCaskies did to Ryan Pace back in 2015 when he was basically forced to hire John Fox when that's not who Ryan Pace wanted. So I'm glad, once again, and I mentioned this in a couple podcasts ago when I was talking about the situation with Ryan Poles seizing full control of the coaching search. I'm glad that Ryan Poles said, look at here, Bill Polian. Look at here, George McCaskey. You hired me to do a job, so it's going to be my final decision. I don't give a damn if Bill Polian was upset. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best GMs ever in the NFL, in NFL history. But I don't give a damn if you really wanted Jim Caldwell. This is my decision to make. And if Ryan Poles felt that Eberflus was a better candidate for the Chicago Bears, so be it. So Bill Polian, why are you upset? You did your job as a consultant, and we thank you. You know, obviously Bill Polian was a huge part of coming in and assessing the whole Chicago Bears organization when Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace were still in place, and said, you know what, Chicago Bears, you need to make a change. And I appreciate you, Bill Polian, for doing that. But in terms of you being upset because Ryan Poles came in and said you can't be part of the final coaching decision, it's absolutely ridiculous. Get out of here. You did your job as a consultant, and us Bears fans, thank you. But at the end of the day, Bill Polian, you had a job to do as a consultant, and Ryan Poles had a job to do as GM. And he made a decision that was best for the Chicago Bears organization. And Bears fans should be happy about this because that means new Bears GM Ryan Poles is absolutely no kiss ass and he's absolutely no punk. He's going to make his own decisions, the decisions that are best for the Chicago Bears. I just thought this report was funny because out of all people, Bill Polian, you're upset for what? You did your job. Get out of here. You did your job. You can go back to wherever you came from. Maybe if we need you again, we'll bring you back. But you did your job as a consultant, and we thank you. So, like always, how do you guys feel about this report? Let me know down below in the comment section. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media channels. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the